to my women again, and men, you know, if this resonates with you, then this can help you also. I have gotten various requests to do a video, of course, about relationships, because it seems to be a very, very big problem, you know, and women are concerned about this. So I want to tap on into this. For number one, the topic today is going to be familiar spirits. Why do I continue to attract the same type of man or the same type of woman in my experience? Why do I attract that? Well, I can go ahead and just address it just right out the gate, and I'll break it down. It's because it's a vibrational match for you. Oh, wait a minute. That may be too new age. It is a spiritual match for you. You're sitting out vibrations there. Your spirit is radiating out into the atmosphere. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities of the air. And if you haven't resolved some things that's going on in the inside of you, you're going to link up with a fool, and you're going to pull that situation into your experience. You create it all. Regardless if you want to believe it or not, we have to take responsibility for ourselves. You know, and if we think back on our lives, and we can get our head out of just talking about the men and just take the mirror and kind of turn it around and look at ourselves, or talking about the woman, just take it in that mirror, just look at that mirror. Our very first relationship that we had was the relationship with our mother when we entered this realm of life in the womb. So whatever she was feeling, whatever she was going through at the time, it became our experience from a spiritual perspective, a spiritual, vibrational, energetic perspective. It became a part of who we are. You have to do the work to change all that around so that you can have what you deserve in your life. I want to define what familiar is for you guys today. When something is familiar to you, it is not. It's a commonplace. It is well known from long ago. A relationship from long ago, a close association with you. It's a household, is domestic, is recognizable, habitual, repeated, frequent, and unsophisticated. Familiar, close relationships, recognizable, commonplace. The reason why you keep pulling in this type of man or this type of woman is because from a spiritual sense, it's a commonplace. So if you really think about that, you got some work to do. Because if whatever's showing up in your life when it comes to a relationship, if you don't like it, my number one question is, why do you keep getting into them? If you keep on repeating patterns, why do you keep jumping into a relationship when you ain't ready? From a spiritual perspective, because it ain't ever physical and it ain't personal, it's always spiritual. And I have said this time and time again, you have to make sure your spirit is ripe and ready. Don't pick the fruit before it's ripened and ready. And so what happens, you get out of one relationship and you go to the next relationship, and it's the same spirit just sitting there waiting on you, punking you the whole time because you ain't done your work. So if you ain't done the work and got yourself with God and got alignment and got delivered for whatever's going on from a vibrational spiritual perspective on the inside of your flesh, you're going to continue to have this experience. And if you don't watch it, you will be robbed of a good spouse or a good partner because you were too lazy to do the work. So when I think about this, if we define what a spirit is, it's the non-physical part of you. The non-physical part of you that links up with what's wrestling in the air. It's going to either link up with God and his folk, the angels, you know, and all that, or you're going to link up with Satan and his folks, which are demons and all that. And their job is to rob you and to make sure that you don't get anything that is promised to you through the relationship with God, through Jesus Christ. So it has to get to a point in your life where you're going to put your foot down. And you will continue, if you don't do the work, to attract familiar men, that same spirit, that same frequency, that same energy, that same emotion that attracts these folks, the same situation, circumstances, you're just going to continue to just attract the same. And you're going to continue to be unhappy and miserable. But I am here today to give you some tools that you can use and things that you can think about to help you get yourself together and stop thinking about relationship for a while. Let a relationship go for 90 days and take that time to get to know who you are from a spiritual perspective. Do your research about who you are as a person. Do your research about God. Do your research about how spirits work. If you pay attention to spirits, they're a pattern. It's a pattern with all of them because they travel like that. And I'm going to give you a scripture that you can read. And this is after a demon has been casted out of someone, a low vibrational entity has been casted out of someone, this is what happens to the person. If we go to Matthew chapter 12, verse 40. Now when the unclean spirit goes out from a man, it passes through waterless places seeking rest, which is a new place to reside, and does not find it. Verse 44, then it says, I will return to my house, which is talking about you, from which I came, waiting on you to slip up. And when it comes, it finds it unoccupied. The Spirit of God ain't dwelling in it. And you, swept and put in order. But you've been delivered, dog. Then it goes and takes along with it 7 other spirits more wicked than itself. So it's bringing some more that needs some place to stay. And they go in and live there, and the last state of the man becomes worse than the first. And this is the way it will be for this evil generation. If you deal with certain people in relationships, the way that they may have acted in their 20s, by the time they hit 30 or 40, they're off the chain. They're completely off the chain. And the reason why is because this right here, 7 more homeboy demons done come in to stay up in there because it's cold and it's dry. They need something to live in, to be more comfortable in. And when you do not occupy yourself with the Spirit of God, the Spirit of the Lord, like you're supposed to, having time with Him, getting to know Him, sitting there quietly, asking Him, God, please help me, Lord, seeking Him like your life depends on it, then what happens is that you open yourself up, because the demon knows, oh, they're going to slip up again, and when they slip up, I know these over here done been casted out, so I'm going to go pull them into this situation so they have somewhere to sleep and stay, because the devil don't care nothing about you, and if he can keep you on a repetitive cycle till they put you in the grave, he will. So my question for you is, when are you going to stop dating and start preparing yourself for your future? Which starts with being a healthy person internally before you even think about a man. Are you ready? Do you know yourself? Do you know what you like? Do you have to be up under a man to feel happy? If so, you got a problem. Have you reflected in depth about your life in your childhood? Some of these patterns that's been showing up in your family. Do you find yourself attracting the same man and the same woman over and over again? If you do, you most definitely need to check your spirit, and you need to pray, and you need to stay away from the opposite sex until you can get it together with God. Are you blaming the man for your problems? Always on the phone gossiping about what he's done. Because after a while, you sound stupid. Because you keep attracting the same type of man. You're the problem. Have you set healthy boundaries for yourself? You touch me on the first date, you try to come in for a kiss, bye. I'm not looking for that. See, the men have to know that'll keep you out of a lot of trouble. Because if they flashly and you still attracting them, you put the stop sign up on them, they'll leave. There you go. What type of woman are you? Do you carry yourself like a lady? Are you walking around in clothes that's very scandalous, that attracts these type of men? Because if you are, you can't get mad at them. You're attracting them into your experience. How's your relationship with your mom, with your dad, with your siblings, with your brothers and with your sisters, with your children? Are you able to let go of this man, or are you just binded to him? No matter what you try to do, it's like a soul tie with the man. Are you able to let go? If not, it's a spiritual soul tie. Is this man a cheater? Is he an abuser? Is he abusive to you? Is he abusive to your children? Is he controlling? Is he a believer? Is he employed? Is he a liar? Does he know God? If any of the questions is yes or no, wait a minute, is he a cheater? If any of the questions is yes, then you need to just leave that dude alone altogether. And check yourself some more. Check yourself. Check yourself. Does he have a hold on you to where you can't let him go? No matter how hard you try, you just can't let it go. That ain't him. That's a spirit. That's a spirit. You got to get that you have to get that together and seek some help for that. It's people out there that will pray with you to get that up out for you. And you have to fill yourself up with the Spirit of the living God. Because once you fall in love with God, the love that you receive from him far exceeds any man. I'll tell you right quick. I know because I've done it. Do you attract the same man or the same woman over and over again? No matter what you do, it's the same situation. If that's the case, it's a spiritual thing. You need to check your spirit and get yourself and get your life in order. So I got a news flash for you. If a lot of those questions you were able to say yes to, man, that does happen to me. Well, man, you know, I never really thought about that. If you felt that way, you're the problem. Not the person, because you pulled them from a spiritual sense into your face. It ain't personal. It's always spiritual. You pulled them in. So the first thing I want to recommend is a spiritual detox from you. You need to detox from a relationship from the opposite sex if you weak altogether, and you need to get yourself together. That's the first thing I want to recommend, a spiritual detox. You know the places that's a stronghold for you. I need not elaborate. Have you prepared yourself for a relationship? If you're attracting the same type of man, you're not prepared. You need to do that. Prepare yourself. Your finances, is that prepared? Is your home prepared? Do you keep a home clean? Do you stock your shelves with the things that you need to take care of your family? Do you do all of those things? Are you financially stable? If the answer to that, any of those is no, then you ain't ready for no relationship. We will prepare ourselves to take our cars to Marta, and we were prepared to do other things. We were prepared for appraisals on our property, take our cars here. We're prepared for Christmas, Thanksgiving, all these holidays. We're prepared for everything but our spirit. You got to prepare your spirit for another person, because it would be an utter chaotic nightmare. Are you living crazy? Are you running around here and just being in sexual relationships before marriage? If you are doing these acts, you will continue to have this problem. It has to be cut completely off. Don't touch me. Unless you're my husband and God has to show it to me. You have to set a standard for yourself as a woman. And if the man is a spiritual match for you, he will admire that in you and he'll wait. He will wait on you. Are you willing to change your life for God? Are you willing to stop doing some of the things that you know you're wrong? When you're doing it, you're convicted, and you just continue to do it anyway. I want to know, are you prepared to do those things? Because if not, don't expect a good relationship. And when I think about a woman, you know, Ruth, there's so many different ones in the Bible, but Ruth was a perfect, I talk about Elizabeth too, but Ruth was a perfect example of a woman. You know, she thoroughly prepared herself for Boaz. And not only that, she had an older woman, Naomi, that was in her life. A lot of us, we think we know too much. If an older woman check us, we want to speak and cuss somebody out. You need an older woman that's a spiritual head that can check you. Check your spirit to keep you in line. It's nothing wrong with that. And that woman ended up being a blessing. Ruth, she prepared herself. She had a great reputation. She had alignment with God. She had a relationship with God. She was faithful to God and to his people. She had a Naomi in her life. That woman washed herself. She cleansed herself from any defilement. She anointed herself with oil to receive the Spirit of God before marrying him. And she clothed herself properly before going to meet him. Ruth 3:3. And I want to close today with Isaiah 61:10. And it reads, I delight greatly in the Lord. My soul rejoices in my God, for he has clothed me with the garment of salvation and arrayed me in a robe of righteousness. As a bridegroom adorns his head like a priest, and as a bride adorns herself with her jewels. Are you clothed with a robe of salvation? Because if you're not, you don't need to talk to anyone when it comes to a relationship at all. Familiar spirits, that's why you're attracting the same man. Do the work and receive the gift, not from your lust, not from the world, but from God. Think about it. I love you guys. And I'll see you in 2. Bye now.